Welcome to Fast Track Gains. I'm here to help you accelerate your gains. This is the third episode of my second series, Hacking into the Ultimate Hypertrophy Code. This episode is all about my late intermediate phase, which is the 16th to 26th month since I started my training. Now, unlike my beginner phase and early intermediate phase, which I was able to keep lean and put on muscle at the same time, at my late intermediate phase, my muscle growth pace has finally slowed down for the first time, and I had to increase my body fat in order to gain more muscle mass. And as such, you will see that my physique will fluctuate between being puffy and being cut, despite I was doing tons of cardio during this phase. Now, since I've already mentioned it, we might as well just jump directly to the most boring topic, the cardio. I'm always a firm believer of cardio. I think decent amount of cardio, in my opinion, 90 minutes of medium intensity cardio per week at least, should be included in anyone's training program even from the very beginning. And I think if you're seriously about getting seriously jacked, then at some point on your weight training journey, you need to have dedicated phase of improving your cardiovascular fitness. Now, for my personal case, I have dedicated about 8 months of time to my cardiovascular fitness improvement from December 2022 to July 2023. I was riding really hard on the elliptical for 1 hour, 3 times a week, and absolutely pushed my 1 hour effort to the maximum. Below are the records of all these sweating hours. 1st of December 2022, 837 calories per hour. That's the starting point for me. Obviously, as you can see, my cardiovascular fitness was not bad from the beginning. 27th of December 2022, 920 calories per hour. Quite a substantial increase compared to just 4 weeks ago. 4th of February 2023, 994 calories per hour. Getting very close to 1000 calories per hour milestone mark. As expected, cardio is boring, but very healthy, and you can definitely progress overloaded just like doing weights. 16th of March 2023, 1052 calories per hour with the help of NMN, or otherwise known as nicotinamide mononucleotide. Quite a difficult name for me to pronounce indeed. Now, this supplement was made very famous by Coach Greg, and I have to tell you that from my first-hand experience, the effect of this supplement is very real. So, a big shout out to Coach Greg. 20th of April 2023, 1075 calories per hour. Still making progress, but as you can see, in small increments now. 21st of July 2023, 1087 calories. This is perhaps the peak performance to date. Keep pushing it any further probably is not a very good idea because I can assure you 1 hour of hard riding is taxing as hell. Much more taxing than doing 1 hour of weights. Nonetheless, it is still almost a 30% output increase compared to the starting point, December 2022, which is more than satisfactory to me and officially put me into this super fit category, according to Coach Greg's online algorithm. In hindsight, this dedicated cardiovascular improvement phase was definitely worth the investment, not only because the heart is the most important muscle of your body, much more important than your biceps or glutes, but also because a stronger heart has significantly increased my training capacity and recovery ability. Therefore, in return, enabling me to get jacked much more quickly than anybody else. In fact, cardiovascular fitness is so criminally underrated in muscle hypertrophy that I will make a future video just telling everyone that why not doing cardio is really killing your gains. Now, before I go any further, if you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. It takes less than a second, costs absolutely nothing, and it will help me tremendously in delivering the most efficient muscle building knowledge to the rest of the world. I really appreciate your support. Okay, back to my video. Just like I started to create my own training system at my early intermediate phase, at my late intermediate phase, I began to construct my own nutrition system. After escaping from the nutrition limbo, I continued the upgrade of my nutrition knowledge. It was necessary for me to collate all sorts of nutrition information I've gathered from all different sources during previous phases, compare, analyze, streamline, assimilate, and create my own nutrition system. Obviously, I have absorbed even more nutrition information at this phase, and more experts' names have come to my mind, like Mark Sisson, Gabriel Lyon, or even Dr. Stephen Gundry. But two key figures stand way above others in helping me create my own system, namely Ted Naiman and Lane Norton. Barring advanced bodybuilding nutrition, these two people are the ultimate masters of general nutrition. And if you just take nutrition advice from these two people, you can put all other names onto shelf and just never think about them again. Owning a humble family doctor in Seattle with a small fan base, Ted Naiman's insight into nutrition is way deeper than all the other nutrition experts with huge fan bases. If there's only one person I can rely on when it comes to nutrition advice, it would always be Ted Naiman. What Ted Naiman really distinguishes himself from all the other nutrition big names is his ability to see through the variables to grasp the nutrition principle. He's not distracted by why a particular diet can work. Instead, he points out to us the common principles that make all diets work. And that is what we call the ultimate wisdom of nutrition mastery. Ted has coined or cited quite a few very unique terms to illustrate his brilliant mind of nutrition principles, in particular, the below ones. Protein to energy ratio. You should strive to extract most amount of protein out of least amount of calories. The prime example of this principle is whey protein powder or skinless chicken breast. This principle is the cornerstone of his own book, The PE Diet. Now, I definitely executed this principle to a T. It was necessary for me to eat extra protein with as little calories as possible to maintain the body fat at a reasonable percentage at my late intermediate phase. Protein leverage. This hypothesis states that human beings will prioritize the consumption of protein in food over other dietary components like carbs or fats, and you will eat until protein needs have been met, regardless of energy content. Satiety per calorie. If there is a food that only contains 1 calorie but provides days of satiety, then you are going to lose all the weight you want. In order to improve body composition, you need to achieve higher satiety per calorie. You can achieve a higher satiety per calories when you eat more protein, more fiber, and when you decrease refined carbs and refined fats. This principle is the ultimate common denominator behind all different diets that can help you lose weight. Personal fat threshold. You can be skinny fat or they call it tofu, and suffer from type 2 diabetes. Or you can be 600 pounds and still be insulin sensitive. Why weight is not entirely correlated with health condition? Well, it's time for you to know the personal fat threshold, because everyone's ability to store fat is different. Once you exceed your personal fat threshold, you will become sick. So it's not just entirely a matter of weight. It's also a matter of whether you have exceeded your personal fat threshold or not. Any online videos that have Ted Naiman talking about nutrition, you should watch and listen, and you will never be disappointed. Guaranteed. If Ted Naiman has established the most solid nutrition principles for you to follow, then Lane Norton will be your most reliable reference to discern whether all the new nutrition fancy claims are worth the hype or just total garbage. Holding a PhD of nutritional science from the University of Illinois, Dr. Lane Norton definitely has the courage to call out all the fake nutrition gurus. But what really sets him apart from other nutrition experts is his disinterested attitude to separate personal bias from scientific evidence, and his ability to look at research studies from a whole systems perspective. My understanding of nutrition has been elevated to a whole new level since I started following him, in particular in below areas. Systematic reviews over single studies. One single nutritional study will not prove anything. Even dozens of nutritional studies with similar results can only point out a new direction of how nutritional science is evolving. Human randomized controlled trials. Unless a study is done by human randomized controlled trials, you cannot simply extrapolate the findings from cellular studies, in vitro studies, or animal studies to human beings. No solutions, only trade-offs. There's no perfect diet that can work for everyone. Whatever solution you choose will always have pros and cons. Energy excess over individual biochemical mechanisms. Before diving into the nuance of sugar, fructose, seed oils, or saturated fats, please first make sure your caloric intake is not in excess of your daily energy expenditure. Once your caloric intake is within your daily energy expenditure, a lot of problems caused by these individual biochemical mechanisms would just simply disappear. If you are uncertain about any weird nutritional claims, please check out Dr. Lane Norton's channel. It is the best antidote against all the nutritional BS. As I've mentioned in my previous video, free weights versus cables versus machines, intermediate hypertrophy. Cables will be the shining star at your intermediate phase. That's exactly what I did as I progressed to my late intermediate. Cable rows become my favorite back exercise. Straight arm pull downs are always on the list. Tricep push downs will never miss on my push day. And lateral raises can always be thrown in at any time. With the humble cables, I was able to increase my training volume and decrease my training fatigue. And there is the landmine attachment. Another humble attachment but proves to be so versatile in my training programs. Landmine shoulder press was once my main heavy compound movement on my push day. T-bar rows are much easier and more effective than the traditional barbell rows in my eyes. And my favorite single arm barbell row has finally allowed me the first time to feel and target my lower lats. With the help of these two new weapons and my consistent nutrition practice, I was able to make further progress. Okay, I know what you want to say, and trust me, I feel the same. I look way fatter than I was back in December 2022. Just look at all these lap handles peeling off my shorts. Well, no disagreement from me here. I was indeed way fatter. But on the flip side, I look much bigger than December 2002, didn't I? We're talking about from 69 kilos to 75 kilos, or from 152 pounds to 165 pounds. Definitely has been some new muscle tissue put on, but also a lot of extra body fat, and it is starting to look a bit out of control now. So, how did all this happen in the first place? All this extra unwanted body fat? Well, it can all be attributed to my nutrition practice. I had to significantly increase my protein intake during this phase in order to gain more muscle mass. And the extra calories, along with the protein source, although I tried my best to minimize it, it was still quite substantial in the end. My daily protein intake during this period was absolutely insane, close to 500 grams per day. 500 grams, I'm not joking. And only 60 grams of this 500 grams of protein come from protein powders, all the rest from real food source. This was the period that I was so obsessed with low-fat dairy products. Low-fat shredded cheese, I can eat like 300 to 500 grams per day. Low-fat Greek yogurt, I can finish a tub of 900 grams within 2 days. Low-fat ricotta, I can eat a whole container of 350 grams like a dessert at dinner. And I'm really not joking. I can still vividly remember how I used to go to the supermarket and grab 10 bags of shredded cheese, or dozens of Greek yogurt, or a whole box of 8 containers of ricotta from the shelf, and people would be just looking at me like this, with weird eyes. Low-fat dairy becomes the ultimate weapon for me to reach this insane daily protein demand, and has helped me achieve the highest protein to energy ratio, well, besides chicken breast, in a much easier and much tastier way, at least in my eyes. However, even with this optimized strategy, extra body fat gains was still inevitable, as you can see. But fortunately, I've already built up a very high cardiovascular output. So to create a caloric deficit should be fairly easy for me, right? Just do a few more hours of cardio. See, you get the point why I keep hammering that cardiovascular fitness is so important. If you have watched my previous videos, you must already be very familiar with this term, generic ceiling height. What you're looking at now is my personal representation of the generic ceiling height. I look lean and muscular and, dare I say it, somehow like Cristiano Ronaldo. So, I finally achieved my dream physique after 2 years of dedicated training. Yay! Mission accomplished. On a serious note, this physique was a result of 3 month cut from my previous puffy state. So how big was the caloric deficit? Well, it was an hour of fasted cardio in the morning, so about 850 calories plus 700 calories slashed from food. Let us just call it a daily 1,200 calorie deficit, because the cardio was not done every morning and my calorie control was never stringent to a T. But here's the key point. I was not suffering. Once you have established a high cardiovascular fitness, going on a cut is not as miserable as you anticipate. An hour of cardio is such a sharp weapon on my fat loss journey. Now, this physique may very well be the most people's ultimate physique goal, and it can very well be the physique that most people can manage to achieve even after a decade of somewhat dedicated training. Hence why I coined this particular term generic ceiling height. Well, I did it in about 2 years' time. Not a brag, just a fact. So, compared to a year ago, some substantial progress was made again. We're talking about approximately 3 kilograms of lean muscle mass, and I have managed to achieve the generic ceiling height with only 2 years. And I'm definitely looking forward more to my third year of training. If you ask someone 2 years ago, would you ever believe in this kind of transformation for a 30-year-old in a time frame of 2 years? 95% or even 99% would say no, not even a slight chance with such poor genetics. However, small step by small step, I, this chubby dude from a very humble beginning, have managed to achieve this transformation. Was it quick or was it slow? That is up for you to decide. Alright guys, that is the end result of my late intermediate phase. Stay tuned for the next episode, my advanced training phase, which is, without a doubt, the most glorious part of my entire journey. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Peace out.